Now, welcome back to Everyday Race. So, here I have a 95 Ford Ranger with a 2.3 liter 4-cylinder engine. I just bought the truck, and the previous owner said it's got a blown head gasket. It's missing on one cylinder, and it doesn't want to go very fast. So, before going all crazy about it and doing all the tests, the simplest thing on this truck is to check the ignition coils. They're right here, real easy to get to. So next I'm going to show you how to test these ignition coils without any tools. So let's get started. The easiest way to check the ignition coil is by pulling the spark plug wires off the ignition coil and then starting the engine and see if the ignition coil actually fires. Since on this engine only one cylinder misfires, I can probably guess that the other three parts of the ignition coil is working properly. So what I can do is I can compare the spark amount coming out of the ignition coil from all 4 points. So let's get started. For that, I like to loosen up all the ignition coils like so. Make sure they're in their spot. Next, I like to put the gloves on, because if the ignition coil fires, and it can shock you pretty good. That's why I use the long pliers to be as far away as possible from the ignition coil during the testing. So let's get started. For that, I'm going to start the engine. Nothing. Alright, since I figured out that the ignition coil is bad due to one not working tower. These are towers. This is a 4-tower coil. The only thing you can do is just to replace it with another one. So you can buy a new one, or I went to salvage yard and picked up a used one for $10. Can't beat it. So all I have to do is just undo the connector, remove four 7mm bolts, transfer all the ignition coil wires to the new coil, and install it in its place. Let me go ahead and do that, and then we'll see what happens after she's all fixed up. Now the new coil or used coil is installed. Let's start it up and see what happens. Now the engine sounds a lot smoother. It's not shaking. It sounds pretty good. Sounds great. You probably think we're done here. We're not really done here. Next, I want to test this ignition coil and see what the difference was, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull one plug wire at a time and see if there's a spark. First, I'm going to shut the engine off so I don't get shocked. Next, I'm going to loosen all the plug wires. Alright. Next, I'm going to use my plug wires, and I'm not going to touch the car. So if you touch the car, you basically ground yourself to the car, and spark can actually shock you. So be extra careful. It doesn't feel very good getting shocked. So let me go ahead and start the truck back up, and I'll test every tower on the ignition coil. So first, let's get this one tested. Oh yeah, look at that spark. But this one was working before, so put it back in. Next, let's do that one. Once again, very good start. Next, I'm going to pull this one. Oh yeah, look at that. Very good. Put it back in. And now I'm going to test the one that was not working before. I can already hear it. Look at that. If you just look at it, it's beautiful. So now every tower on the ignition coil is working. That means no more misfire. Pretty happy. $10 fix, very cheap. So thank you for watching. Hopefully this video helps you out to figure out your problem with your engine.